Hi, I'm Adila.
I'm Shen, and welcome to the first episode of Kiasu Book Club.
So just for you guys to know, this name is actually temporary. We are still deciding. We actually put out a poll
On Spotify and Instagram.
Yeah, correct. So for now, it will be Kiasu Book Club for this episode. But in the future episode, it will be a different name.
It's a community decided name, so we will be looking forward to the poll results.
Yes.
So today, we are going to do our first ever review of our first ever book.
Ooh.
Called My Robot Gets Me.
How social design can make new products more human. You can learn more based on our episode 23 to get a recap on how this book club works.
Yeah, right.
So for this first episode, for this first book that we are doing, the first review, there's a lot of first for this first. So Xuan, what do you think of the first 2 chapters that you have read?
Actually, it makes me more conscious about my interaction with objects around me. Like your coffee machine, your laptop and stuff. Yeah, so it gets me thinking about this almost overlooked interactions with these objects.
I like the fact that the author mentioned about how smart objects are not as smart as we think they are.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's more of a commercial value for advertising. You say, smart robot, smart vacuum cleaner. It's just a term, but it's really not that smart anyway.
If we look deeper into it,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Yeah, okay. So this is just a short teaser of what we think after reading 2 chapters. So how about we jump right in
Yes,
to the
let's
first
get to it.
chapter. Cool.
So for chapter 1, basically the intro, I think it's considered quite a brief chapter, covering through what this whole book is about.
Yeah. So how this book got started is she basically said historically people have been interacting socially long before we have digital products. She gave examples like people used to have special pillows that meant something more than just the object itself to them.
Actually, I don't understand what's special pillow.
You don't have a...
What's so special about it?
Because it's something that you grow up with. Okay, so it's basically 臭臭 lah. In Singapore, you know 臭臭.
Okay. Oh, okay,
I don't know if there's a
okay, now I get it.
Malay
so
term
it's
for
like,
it.
for Malay it's bantal busuk.
Bantal busol.
Bantal busuk.
Bantal busuk.
Yes, bantal means pillow, busuk means smelly. Smelly
Yeah.
pillow.
臭臭. Basically, 臭 means smelly. Then you put the 2 names together, it's like a cuter term for it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay, so it's similar lah. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, I used to have, but now I don't.
Okay lor.
Do you still have it now?
Okay, my 臭臭 is a toy dog.
Oh, a toy dog. I thought it's a real dog.
It's just a stuffed toy that was given to me by my godmother when I was 1 year old.
Oh, so
And I carry it all the way until now. So it's still accompanying me to sleep every night. Yeah. It's really 臭臭 because it's damn smelly. Nobody likes it. Other than me. Because it's an accumulation of my skin cells.
This is saying a lot about you.
Over there, yes. Yeah. So I really relate to this. Like when she says people have interacted socially, even with analog products. She's also saying this social interaction is only amplified when we add smartness to products.
The term smartness basically. Yeah, so I think when she means smartness, it's basically the ability to sense what we are doing and then also respond appropriately.
Yeah.
But I think there's a certain limitation in terms of technology for this.
I guess that's why she says actually smart is not that smart for objects, right?
Correct.
As humans, we are also driven to be social. Yeah. So historically, we need to be social to survive in the past as hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
You need to rely on others in order to survive.
Yeah.
And because of that, right, it makes us very highly attuned to social signals.
And I also find that she mentioned about giving names to certain products. For example, if let's say like Alexa, Siri, it's more of a feminine name, I guess. So sometimes by giving a name, a user will develop a relationship. So it's like by giving an endearing name shows a sign that you have some trust and reliance on the product. So for example, you will say like, oh, she's good, oh, she's reliable, but actually you're referring to a product. And you call it a she because of the brand name itself.
Yeah, that's true. I do have friends who ride a bike, like guys lah.
You mean like
friends name-
motorbikes?
Yeah, motorbikes.
Oh, okay.
So they will name some zabo name lah.
Then,
girl's name.
Then he will say, oh, that's my girlfriend, something like that.
Yes. Yeah, so, it's really transcending the boundaries of just like lifeless objects, right? It's almost like they really give a life to the products they own.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so in a sense, the author also mentioned basically having this better social exchange, it develops a deeper relationship between the person and the product. It will also creates a better user experience, I guess.
Yeah. I think this better social exchange equals to deeper relationship, equals to better experience, right? It's a good equation that we can have in mind as designers.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Because it's like you can work backwards and see like what factors you can tune to make the experience better for the end user.
I think also because when you have a very good social experience with a product, you tend to organically recommend it to other people.
Yeah. Your trust in the product also increases.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
I also like it that the author mentioned that, having this better experience, it should be done on purpose. Yeah, it should not be left to happen by accident.
Meaning to intentionally craft it well from the start.
Yes.
Okay.
And she also mentioned like there's a value in highly crafted and thoughtfully executed designs to ensure a better experience with the digital products lah. Yeah, so actually that part makes me a bit excited to read ahead. Like, okay, then how do how do I then create this highly crafted and thoughtfully executed experience? Yeah.
I think it says a lot about, especially for mass-produced products where it's not as highly crafted and thoughtfully executed. It's just because they want to earn money. But then when a user use it, right, you can only make use of it once or twice, then it breaks. Then you realize, this is not
reliable.
Yeah, not reliable. They didn't think through their design. Maybe it's flimsy. It reminds me of some of the products you will buy on Shopee.
Oh yeah, like cheap ass products.
Yeah, correct. I mean, yeah, it's a good alternative, but then again, you have to think again like what goes through behind the thought process of creating these products.
Yeah, and I feel like in turn, if you have interacted with a product that is very well thought through, right? Wow, you really feel so much for the product.
And you want to take care of it,
Yeah.
like even like pass it down maybe. Really put in the thought to just make sure that it works well and it can last long.
Yeah. So I think this is the part where it gets a bit more interesting because the author brought in an example to highlight like the points that she made, which is an automatic door. Sometimes when you walk through an automatic door, right? Then you don't know if the door is going to open or not. Because sometimes when you walk to the sensor, you think that the door will open, but it doesn't open. Then it makes you very anxious also, like, what is happening right now? I just want to walk through.
I'm approaching this door. Something should be happening soon.
Correct, yeah. So the case of an automatic door, a lot of times is like this. There is the lack of interaction. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, and it does not give you assurance lah for just a simple step of walking through the door into the building or out the building. Yeah, versus having an authentic human interactions. So for example, instead of an automatic door, like you have a doorman standing there. So when you walk towards the doorman actually smiles at you and bows at you. So kind of acknowledge that he knows you are coming over and he's ready to open a door for you lah. Yeah.
Basically those kind of at hotels lah. Right.
Yeah.
I suddenly recall in the past there used to be a person who will be stationed at the lift, and then let's say you go inside and then this person will ask you which level you want to go to, then he will press it for you.
Yeah. That's actually in Japan and Taiwan.
Even now?
Yeah, even now.
Oh,
it's
okay.
quite a traditional practice law in a lot of shopping malls.
But what's the function of it? Why don't you just press your own button?
Like, it's that sense of thoughtfulness.
Oh, like you are being served.
You are being served, yeah.
Oh, I just feel like it's a waste of space. I mean,
like I could have squeezed one more person into the
yeah,
lift,
precisely. Like imagine like me and my husband want to rush in and there's no space, just one more person, and only me can go in.
But okay, I think that point is good because like I think designing this kind of thoughtful experiences, right, you also have to take in these culture norms. How some people sees it. Some people might see it as, hey, it's actually not bad. Maybe because for us Taiwanese, like kena colonized by Japanese. So we like the very Japanese service, you know.
Oh,
so to us it's
okay.
like okay, very good. But maybe for you, then you find it like, why is it so excessive, right?
Yeah.
So actually that is also something that the author brought up. Like which is you need to take in the social, cultural and personal norms.
Yeah,
when
the
designing
psychological also.
Yeah. When designing all these experiences.
So it's like when you are designing something socially, you have to factor in the fact that, okay, this product might have to function this way in a certain culture, certain country, but then if we bring it to this another market, you might have to tweak it or maybe take it away or change.
And it also
things.
makes you, like, as designer, you need to be a bit more sensitive to these norms.
Yeah.
Which she said, like, designer is not just designing color,
not
typography
correct.
or material already. It's really more than that.
After I read that line, right, it got me excited.
Same. Yeah, it got me like feeling bigger than
Bigger than life.
bigger than life. I'm God. No. Yeah.
Okay, like, I guess in a way it's more of it aligns well to our purpose as UX designers and product designers.
Right, yeah.
So it's like we go beyond just flat screens and visual designs, and I mean all those things are still important, but basically they are just a means to serve a higher purpose. Wow, I sound so deep.
Yeah, actually I do recall reading this line also, like it's also an act of self-enlightenment. Yeah, knowing that you're affecting the social and cultural.
Sounds like a
personal
career
norms.
self-enlightenment, a calling.
A calling, yes. It's our time, designers. Just kidding. Yeah, so she also have kind of a framework to help us better look at our designs.
Yeah, so basically it consists of these 5 rings of social design. The very center of the ring is presence, followed by expression, interaction, context, and ecosystem. It helps to frame our mind when we are reading this book as well. Because to me, social design is something that I'm not very familiar with. So it's helpful that she has this framework lah, basically.
Yeah. Are there any particular one that you are more excited to read into?
I guess it would be expression.
Ooh.
Because presence is quite straightforward. It's just talking about the material. How about you? Which part are you excited?
I'm more excited about interaction part. Because I feel like there are really some times in my life where I start to interact with the product. Then there are that mind blown moment, like, ooh. Yeah,
okay.
then I want to know how to engineer that. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Alright, so that's the end of chapter 1.
Yay.
Let's sip our tea.
We're gonna take a break.
Shall we ASMR the tea?
You can do it.
Alright. Okay, so on to chapter 2.
Yes, let's get to it. So chapter 2, we are talking about affordances and interactions. So for the author, she mentioned the social interaction of products such as laptop, coffee machine.
She painted like this very colorful picture of her dancing with the laptop. Like, oh, I'm one with the laptop. My fingers are caressing the trackpad.
Yeah, she was saying about how her hands just fly over the keyboard, and then she's able
doesn't even need to see.
Yeah,
the
doesn't
keyboard.
even see. Yeah, precisely.
Yeah, that kind of prompted for us. Do we have similar close social interactions with the objects in our lives as well? So for me, I would say it's my coffee machine.
Okay. Because you use it every day?
I use it every day. It's a very reliable piece of object in my life because it's the one that starts my day. Yeah. It's quite a nicely designed piece of machine.
Yeah.
There's this latch where you need to pry open. And that piece, right, is a very nicely designed curved where your hands just cups on it very comfortably. Yeah, so I really like that part. Like every morning I will go and like caress. It's like petting a kitten.
It's similar to ASMR where people will say, oh, they like the sound of it, they like the texture. So it's really using your 5 senses. You taste coffee, you smell the coffee, you can touch the thing, making the coffee. And then it looks pleasant to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put it on display, I'm sure. Right.
It's a nice display set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Do you have something like that?
Sadly, no.
We'll
I
cut this
mean-
part. So with these social interactions, then it also begs the question of what is a good social interaction? It is actually when it's intuitive and it's also intimate. Yeah.
The author goes in depth about how immersed she can be using her laptop. Like, as I mentioned just now, like caressing and fingers flying about the keyboard because of the muscle memory that she has.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I can actually relate because, for example, when I'm using a laptop that has a trackpad, I feel the need to actually swipe or nudge the trackpad to wake it up.
Oh. Yeah, it's like poking someone.
Yeah. And then also, because maybe I'm a very tactile person, so I really like the feeling of typing. So the sound of keys clicking away, it's really very nice. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah. I also noticed, like, you know, some keyboards, right? They have this very nice concave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like yours, the mechanical keyboards. There's reasons why people prefer mechanical keyboards because of the industrial design of it, like the concavity of the keys, and also when you press down, right, it has this very nice clacking sound.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes you feel very productive.
Like for laptops, usually their keyboard is quite flat, the way I see it.
Yeah, I remember also there's one model of MacBook that their keyboard, right, I think they call it a butterfly keyboard.
Oh, okay.
The way that it's being manufactured is like the distance of it pressing and unpressed is very small.
Oh,
So a lot of
okay.
people don't like this version of the keyboard because they don't feel like they are typing something. Yeah.
It reminds me also, you know, when you go to the shopping mall and then you have those directory, especially if it's an interactive directory where you can actually type in the shop that you're looking for, right? And then they have a keyboard which is a flat screen. And then you have to type it. I feel like I'm pressing harder.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
I feel like
same.
I'm pressing harder on the flat
Force
button just to make sure it senses my touch. When actually I don't need to, but it's just natural.
Intuition.
Yeah, because sometimes I press it lightly, then it doesn't come out. Then I have to press harder.
Oh my
then
god, yeah, that's such a good example.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So this already prompted us to give so many examples in our lives, right?
Yeah, so basically the author mentioned that in our current time now, economically it's more feasible to develop more intuitive interfaces. Just like I mentioned about how shopping mall directories more and more are becoming interactive. And then back then, sensor components were more expensive. And it makes sense because I'm sure last time, way back, software took more time and effort to develop.
She also mentioned, like, back then, because of how expensive it is, right, it becomes very awkward, the interaction. Yeah, but now we are at this point where economically it just makes sense. So there's not much excuses to not create products that is
And well
the
designed.
interaction is well designed.
So in this chapter specifically, the author introduced to us the term social affordances, which is a term built upon design affordances, but with a social value applied. So basically there are four aspects to consider for social affordances. First is degree of intimacy, second form, third dynamic behaviors, and lastly conversational elements.
Yeah, actually it sounds a bit chim to me, all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think degree of intimacy is very interesting.
Well,
To
why
me.
do you say so?
Because I feel like it's quite an exciting question, right? Like, how do you design for an intimate interaction with a product? Yeah.
Okay. I like the dynamic behavior because it reminds me of the breathing light of MacBooks to indicate that it's still turned on without us having to open the lid to check that it's still turned on. Yeah.
And it's also the pulsating, like how you
it's
design.
basically pulsating. Yeah.
Someone has to specify, like, how long it pulsates and how much light is illuminating at different stages. Yeah, to make it look like it's breathing. You know, so I think this goes back to the whole point of thoughtfully executed design law.
Yeah.
And I think this is the part where it gets interesting in this chapter as well, when she brought in a project that she was on called the Simon Project. Yeah.
The Simon Project, the goal of the Simon Project was to try to create a computing machine that relied on social cues for its control and performance. So basically, in other words, a person just needs to approach Simon and start interacting with and talking and gesturing to Simon as if you are talking to a real person.
Yeah. I think one very interesting point is that actually they don't really need to add the years in because it serves no functional purposes to do the whole robot.
Yeah.
But they put it in because years is almost like a way to communicate social cues. So actually when I read this, right, I recalled this Taiwan show where I watched this celebrity, they exchange gifts for Christmas lah. Yeah, so then someone bought a robot assistant.
Oh, it's a small assistant. I thought it's a big assistant.
It's like 30 cm figurine, you know. At first, when he took it out, right, it's just like this small head with a bulbous body. Then at first, the crowd was like very not interested. They just, huh? What's that?
Oh.
Yeah, but he said like, oh, sorry, I forgot these two parts. So it's the ears of the robot. Then once he put the ears on the corners of the head, right, everyone was excited about it. Like, everyone was just so cute. Because once he put the ears on top, right, then I think the object sensed the ears lah. So the ears started to twist a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it just awakened the whole crowd. Yeah, it's just the ears, you know.
Yeah.
So it reminded me totally of this thing.
But using these ears sort of reminds me of animals, the way of animals communicating, specifically dogs.
Yeah. So maybe just one last thing that I want to mention in chapter 2 is the concept of interactants. Yeah, the author actually brought 3 different types of interactants. So one is product as person to person. For example, phone calls. You know? So the product is a direct medium.
Whatever I say to you, you hear it directly from the phone. Whatever I mention it to you, you hear it directly, the message itself.
Meaning nothing is translated lah.
Yes, nothing is translated, nothing is put into a different interpretation. It's direct, it's quite direct.
Right.
Second is product as communicator of embedded messages. So the messages can be sent from the designer of the product through the product.
Actually, I quite like this point. I really relate to this point because like when we are doing design, everything we design is us translating what we think onto the product to be used by end user. So this is very relatable.
Yeah.
Although it sounds very chim.
The most simplest example we can think of is microwave oven.
For example, the giant red button. And that is basically the designer communicating this concept of a red button means start.
Start and stop. Something like that, right?
Yeah. To be put on the microwave oven and be understood by the end user.
So the lastly is really product as independent social entity. For this one, I'm not really sure. I wish the author gave an example. Would it be like our social media apps?
Maybe it's like ChatGPT or like
Chatbot lah.
chatbots.
Like for example, you go on a website and then you browse through several pages and then maybe you're lingering on one page. Suddenly you have the chatbot coming up saying, hey, I can help you, something like that.
Yeah. So that is a bit like taking a quote-unquote life on its own and then interacting with the end users. It's not really fully controlled by the designer or developers. Yeah.
I think it's very close to AI really.
Yeah.
So that concludes our chapter 2
of Affordances and Interactions.
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
So that was the review of our first 2 chapters.
Cool. Yes. Hope you like the deep dive of these 2 chapters. To me, it's quite enjoyable. You know, there's already a lot of good substance to absorb already.
Yes. We do hope that we makes you excited to start reading or looking forward to our next episode where we're going to dive deep more into the concept, basically the core message of this framework like basically, right? The 5 stages. For me, I would definitely want to explore more on these 5 stages of the social design framework and look forward to applying it to the products I use and also future products I design. Has there been like any change of understanding in you or enlightenment that you feel after just reading the start of this book?
I enjoy reading it because it brings me back to my industrial design era.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like how the author mentioned a few times, I think 2 or 3 times, that the future of product and interactive designers, we will need broad skills, and we cannot just focus solely on visual skills, but to also really understand social cues, user psychology, and user needs in terms of socially and systematically.
Cool. So that's it. That's our first ever episode for our book club.
First book review of our book club.
Yes. So looking forward to the next one, and if you have any feedback of how we go about doing this book review and discussion, do let us know, because we also want it to be as useful and beneficial for you.
Yeah.
In response to the book, we will also post some questions and poll on Spotify. So be sure to use your Spotify mobile app to interact with us as well.
Yes. So as usual, we will still be doing our normal episodes.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, talk to you guys next time.
Bye.